All right, class, for our next project, we are going to be learning about George Washington. And when I did this project in the classroom, I asked them who George Washington was, and they knew that he was the first president. We put together a puzzle that went with the storyline that went along with it. We went over why George Washington was famous, of course, for being the first president, but also for not being able to tell a lie. So they received a piece of paper and they cut out 4 different rectangles and they were to put them in the correct order. The rectangles said, so there's 4 of them. So the first one said, one day George Washington took his hatchet and chopped down a cherry tree. At this point, I stopped and I asked the class what a hatchet was, which I would have to say maybe one student knew. So they learned that a hatchet was an axe, which is what they know it as. So they learned that he used an axe to cut down a cherry tree. The second rectangle says, when George's father saw the cherry tree lying on the ground, he was very angry and he asked, who cut down the cherry tree? The third one says, George told his father, I cannot tell a lie. I cut down the cherry tree and I am very sorry. And the last rectangle says, George's father forgave him because George had told him the truth. I went over with my students and I asked them, why do they believe George didn't get into a lot of trouble for chopping down his dad's cherry tree? And the consensus was that George told the truth. And we discussed how telling the truth can help you. And if you lie to somebody and you keep lying, then you're going to get into more trouble than you would if you would just tell the truth. So if you do something wrong, you always need to tell the truth. And I told them it goes with that saying that you'll hear, the truth will set you free. So make sure that you're always telling the truth and you're not lying, especially to grandmas or grandpas or daddies, mommies, aunts, uncles, anybody, because we need to know the truth, especially if you're hurt. We need to know how we can help and how we can make you feel better. So never lie, because lying's not going to help. Telling the truth is going to help. And this went along with our kindness week, which was all part of our plan, as well as with our history lesson. So we learned about Honest Abe, and we learned about George Washington, which George is known for not being able to tell a lie. These are the finished projects from the students. They glued them all together and colored them, and they learned a lot about George Washington, and they were able to put them in the correct order.